making space within our thinking, lifting shades to show the sun, raising courage when we're sinking, find the scope for faith begun. In the Spirit let us travel, open to each other's pain. Let our loves and fears unravel, celebrate the space we gain. There's a place for deepest dreaming, there's a time for heart to care. In the Spirit's lively scheming, there is always room to spare.
Come to a time in our service where we recognize our connection to the wider world, to the creation surrounding us. So I invite you in these moments to settle yourself into your chair. We're going to do a visualization today. You're going to use your mind's eye to picture yourself within the holiness of creation. First of all, we're going to sing a couple of verses of this song that invites the Spirit to be present among us. I invite you to set your bulletin down and to sit comfortably in your chair and to close your eyes. And take 3 conscious breaths, inhaling deeply, filling your lungs fully, and then exhaling completely. Invite your awareness to fill your whole body. Visualize God's Spirit present in you. See God's light illuminating you, a light emanating from your heart, then expanding and filling you fully. God's Spirit is breathing you, each breath in and out. Experience yourself as a fully loved, fully whole, fully embodied child of God. Now let your awareness expand from your own physical form into the wider world and see yourself at your favorite place on earth. Picture yourself there. Visualize it, every detail. Experience it fully, the temperature, the textures, where you're sitting or standing. This place on earth that you love fills you. It is fully sacred to you. Experience its holiness. Now allow that experience of sacredness to grow and expand beyond your special place to the wider creation, to the whole creation. God present, filling it all. Take in your mind's eye the whole of creation as if you have a panorama view, and see God illuminating every vista you can imagine. See the light of God in every forest, every tree, within every rock, stone, and pebble. God in every mountain, God in every lake and stream. It's all holy, heaven present on earth. And now visualize the sacredness of every creature, every antelope, and every squirrel, radiating aliveness, luminous with spirit. God intricately woven into every fish in the sea. And open your ears to receive the symphony of sounds, the squawk of a penguin, the kitten's purr, the meadowlark's melody, the rolling tides crashing on the shoreline. Let them wash through you. Listen not just with your ears, but with your whole awareness. Every scent, every odor, the mist after a rain, the smoke of a campfire, every taste, bitter or sweet, know it all as sacred. The whole earth to the east and the west, radiating God's essence. All forms, all elements, earth, air, fire, water, imbued with love. You are blessed. You are a part of it all. It is good to be aware and awake. I invite you to gradually open your eyes and to bring your attention back into this place. And to know and remember that you are a container that holds and illuminates the light of God. May you carry the light of God's presence into the world, reflecting love and compassion wherever you go. And turn again to your bulletin and let us join our voices in this prayer. The blessings of sun, the blessings of moon, the blessings of east and of west, to guide us on the way, to lighten our eyes, to strengthen our will and our loving. The blessings of earth, the blessings of air, the blessings of fire and of water, to fill us with heaven, to free us from mercy, to stir us with flames of compassion. Amen.
Psalm 16. I take refuge in you, O God. I turn to you in thanksgiving. I rest in you in difficulty. I thank you for life in this beautiful place, for heritage which forms and teaches me. I thank you for the heart you planted within me, and for the still small voice which urges me to grow. My spirit is glad, and my body rests in hope. You show me the path of life, and in your presence is joy.
And from Mark 6:30-32. After the apostles returned to Jesus, they told him everything they had done and taught. But so many people were coming and going that Jesus and the apostles did not even have a chance to eat. Then Jesus said, "Let's go to a place where we can be alone and get some rest." They left in a boat for a place where they could be alone.
These are words of God for the people of God. And each one of you embodied fully is God's word for God's people and for all of creation. And in that spirit, I invite you to stand as you're able and to greet one another and offer words and signs of peace.
don't have tables, I'll stay there.
Alleluia.
Oh, I see what's happened. There it is. Good morning. Hi. So today's focus from our Wonder series, this book, is actually based on chapter 9, if you get to read it. But my talk is a variation of that, of course. Today is about the day of rest, and I want to thank Kent so much for the meditation words, because there hasn't been a better introduction than what we've already experienced in the visualization that he led us in. So thank you. Today is a day of rest, our traditional day of rest. A day when we are called to rest from the work of the week. A day to set aside time to rest, relax, refresh, renew, restore, and replenish our energy and balance. When times have challenged me, I've been helped by a text from Psalms, Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. And I sometimes shorten it to be still and know. And it's been a mantra that's taken me through many years, hence today's talk. Is this reverberating, this sound reverberating? It's okay. Thank you. So, for the benefit of today's message, I'm drawing from Marcus Borg's understanding of God, not as a being separate from the universe. Be still and know that I am a sacred presence all around us and within us. Be still and know that I am a reality that is present everywhere and permeates everything in space, in the space and time world. Yet I am more than this. Be still and know there are endless ways in which we gain knowledge in this world we live in. And I really like the work of Howard Gardner. He describes many ways of knowing. We know God. We know about life through language and expanding our thoughts, through music, through visual means, spatial awareness around us, through connecting with nature, through insights and intuition, through relationships with others, through moving and listening to our body, our gut knowing. In fact, the Chinese say the center of intelligence, our brain, is in the gut. And we also know through logic and mathematics. Now, in the text, be still and know, the psalmist at that time was inviting us to come back to stillness, to release all those things that disrupt our peace, the things that we're warring with, both within and without. And I'm just going to read a version from the Messenger that comes as part of that text. Attention all, see the marvels of God. He plants flowers and trees all over the earth, bans war from pole to pole, breaks all the weapons across his knee. Step out of the traffic, take a long, loving look at me, your high God, above politics, above everything. So then, what are we at war with? Conflicted emotions, time, busyness, the political environment, a never-ending to-do list, self-imposed tasks, shoulds, distractions, and all this stuff of life. So for the day of rest, we've known it as being a time to take stock of what we're doing. But there's lots of other signs around that says the day of rest is a day where we do the rest of the laundry, the rest of housework, the rest of shopping. This day of rest becomes a day of distraction from being still and creating space for your soul's nourishment. Now, I know people like my mother, my grandmother, where laundry actually was a meditation for them. Cooking in the kitchen was a form of meditation, so don't take this too literally. So, be still. How simple can this be? Do we really have to take a whole day to be still? Or can we bring it back to a moment? My favourite breathwork technique, which I taught over the years, comes from the work of Professor Ilse Meidendorf. She was born in 1910, over 100 years ago, and she lived in Germany during the Second World War. During that time, there was a high level of distress and disagreement by many who lived in Germany. Yet they knew that if they spoke out against the Nazi rule, this meant they would be killed. So they had to keep quiet. Ilse developed and secretly taught classes focusing on breath work. This was a way in which she could help people come to healing from these conflicted emotions about what was happening in their country. As people learnt to become one with their breath, they found this helped them to guide, heal, balance, and reintegrate their life. This is what we're going to play with and practice with today. So, what's different about Meidendorf breathwork? In her technique, we tune into and listen to our breathing. We become present to the sensation of movement of our own breathing. So you can start by just placing a hand above and below your diaphragm. Just let your arms rest there quietly. In her technique, we allow the breath to come and go on its own. We notice the subtle changes and rhythms. We don't override our own rhythm of breathing. Many techniques we count to, or we feel, or we slow, or we change. There's many different forms of breathing, all have purpose. This form of breathing honours the fact that every breath is finely tuned already to meet the needs of our whole body. It's like this computer that figures out how much oxygen is needed for the muscle, how much is needed for the gut, and so on and so on, how much carbon dioxide needs to be exhaled. So at every moment, the breath is fine-tuned to this need. So we're going to turn and practice this so you can listen to what your breath is doing. It's maybe easier to block out distractions by just closing your eyes. And you can both feel under your hands and experience what your breath is doing. Feel what happens when you inhale. Notice that point when you begin to exhale. And then notice again that point where you're going to inhale. So I'm going to be quiet for a little while now, and you just be fully present to your breath. And now quietly come back to the room. And in your own awareness, did your breathing change? Did you notice the rhythm changed and varied? Did you notice that sometimes the breathing was slower and sometimes there was a little catch-up breath? Did you notice that after you exhaled, sometimes there was a longer pause before your lungs took breath in again? Did you notice there was less pause after you inhaled and turned around and exhaled? So this kind of breathing is a way of being fully present. So when someone tells me to just breathe, I kind of hiccup because I am breathing. And it works better for me if somebody says, "What's your breathing doing right now?" That helps me tune back into what my body needs, into what is needed right now. Because we breathe anyway. What I like about Michalicek breathing is that it's something we have with us all the time. We don't have to stop somewhere, take our shoes off, and contract our muscles and release and do some relaxation. We don't have to find a dark space to do some meditation. It's with us all the time. We can lean against a tree. At a red stoplight, we can just tune into our breathing for a couple of cycles. Just finding those moments where we come back to stillness. So whether it's a day of rest or a moment of rest, the day of rest is a blueprint for the value and the benefit of taking time out, those gentle moments, becoming still and seeing more clearly, knowing God in a deeper way or a fuller way. I did some Michalicek breathing first thing this morning when I came into the room because I had prepared a session where we would sit around tables and have some playtime from the Book of Wonder, and the tables weren't there. So as you go out today, I will, before the service is over, I'll be putting some handouts out. Sadly, yours are black and white, but just a few little fun reminders about slowing down. And there'll be a short handout of words of wisdom from some of the mystics, from some of the ancient people we know, to help and encourage us to take time to rest. And also there's a piece of cardboard where you can sit down and write, draw, pull in a song, whatever way of knowing works best for you. How do you find your rest? Is it a mantra like I've carried all these years, be still and know? Is it a colour? A colour that appeals to you? Is it the sound of trees? Is it watching birds? Is it playing with your grandchildren, reading stories out loud, pulling weeds, knitting? There are endless ways of finding that still point and knowing that deep peace. So you can play with that if you like homework. On the other side, you could put down some of the things that actually stop you from making that final step into a place of stillness. And never forget to ask your body, what is your body telling you right now? Thank you.
Our bodies are saying, thank you, Carol, for bringing us to that amazing point of rest and stillness. And as we bring our hearts even closer to the center point, as we find that place and that space where we are able to be open to the needs of the world, where we're able to be open to our own needs, where we are able to be vulnerable, where we're able to place ourselves in the position of prayer. What are your prayers today?
I see in the bulletin this morning that Wheeler Smith has died. And many, many of you know Wheeler. I think he was 100 years old and such a saint in our church. Bob and I were in a small group with Wheeler and his wife, Guyla, many years ago. And what a fine, fine man. He was an attorney. I saw him just last week slowly walking with his walker down the ramp to be picked up by somebody. He came, I don't know if every week, but very, very faithful. So I lift up dear Wheeler in gratitude and praise.
And we receive that prayer and hold it to our hearts. It's precious. And then we release it to the God who loves us and knows us.
I pray for serene insight concerning new construction on Mauna Kea. International attention has turned to the building of a new telescope in that complex, and there are people who have been trying to do it the right way, and now we're trying to get our facts straight.
I'm Bob. Prayer this morning for Debbie's safe trip all the way to Warroad, Minnesota, with her two grandchildren. She's on the road now.
Hi, I'm Denny, and I just want to say the joy that I feel when I look at that beautiful table. I love the image, the serenity, and the circle that reminds me of us.
I'm Anita, and I would like to offer some prayers for Marcine Johnson. She wanted everyone to know that she won't be here for a few weeks. She's dealing with some health issues. So I just offer requests for prayers for her continuing strength and comfort and better days ahead.
I'm Holly, and I'm going to be long-winded. And I would like to thank Nate for waiting outside for Jaden and I this morning when we got here. And then I want to thank Carol for the altar table. She made it look really nice.
Jan and I have a friend named Gail whose family is dealing with multiple crises. The mother is in care for Alzheimer's. Her brother has been institutionalized for brain damage caused by alcoholism. Her daughter-in-law's father has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Lots of little kids that need care. And they are a huge, loving family, but they are dealing with a lot. So I ask prayers for all of the members of Gail's family as they march down this road.
I'm Trish, and I would like to ask for prayers for my great niece's husband, Tim, who was deployed to Afghanistan for a year, and I have no idea why we are still there. That's another prayer.
I'm Evie, and my prayer, I have 3 prayers. One for my son, Tim, that he will continue on a path that will lead to employment, something that taps into his strengths and skills. My second prayer is for his birth mother, Randy, who's going through a very difficult time. And the third prayer is for myself, and that I can find peace and serenity and quell some of the anxiety I feel. Thank you.
Together we join our voices. God to walk with us, God on our left and on our right, God to be our compassion and hope, God to hear and hold our prayers this day and every day. Amen. This moment of participation is an opportunity to share generously what we've been given so that the work of rest and Sabbath and opening of hearts might continue. You are invited to give.
Life goes on in endless song above earth's lamentations. I hear the real though far off hymn that hails our new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear thy music ringing. It sounds and echoes in my soul. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roar, I hear the truth delivered. What though the darkness round me close, songs in the night is given. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? Hundreds tremble, sick with fear, and hear their death knells ringing. When friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? The peace of God makes fresh my heart, a fountain ever springing. All things are mine since I am God's. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? Each week we offer the opportunity for you to share the good news you have going on in your life. Any new marking points, things that you're celebrating, anniversaries, birthdays. And I invite those of you who have good news to share to come to the center of the circle. We're going to offer you a blessing. Come forward now.
Are we all here? 2 weeks ago, I asked you to pray for my great-grandson Wyatt, who was undergoing heart surgery. He had it a week ago Friday, and last Sunday, my son and I went to visit him at Children's Hospital. He was sitting in a chair, entertaining his parents and another grandfather, and doing quite well. Thank you.
I didn't realize I have to talk. I celebrated a milestone birthday 2 weeks ago, and I had my family came to town from Texas and Maryland, so that was really fun. So blessings for that.
You're 20, huh?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Tomorrow will be 52 years, not age. You can guess what it is.
I have started the job that I was after for 28 years.
I just wanted to give you an update. I'm having a wonderful time on my southern estate farm in Tennessee. All is well, and I'm up here enjoying Lake Superior and for a whole month of Minnesota cabin life and back in my wonderful community. And we have our wonderful church chapel on the top of our hill that is as spiritual as this. So know that I'm in good hands. And it's great to be here.
I and my family just had a house that we've been looking for 5 years. Everything is okay and perfect with it, so thank God.
All right, we invite you to bless these folks by extending your hands and the words to sing Our God Grant You Many Years.
So much amazing good stuff happening. Yay. Yay. Well, thank you. So excited. I miss you all tremendously. Had some really good rest and some good time, so I am excited for our life together coming forward. There's a lot happening today. There is a lot to get ready for. If you have not read your announcements, pull out your sheet. You know I'm not going to read everything, but there is a student sponsorship fair today for our Biwala project. You know how close that is to the heart of this community, so act accordingly. The one thing I do want to highlight is that we are hosting National Night Out for this community. For the first time, we were asked to host. We've been asked to participate in the last few years, but this year, they asked us to host. And we are so excited. There is going to be face painting. There is going to be hot dogs. And I think there will be at least one clown. Make of that what you will. But it's a big thing, and if you haven't volunteered and you're thinking about volunteering, we could still use some volunteers because we're expecting about 200 people in and around our building and out on the parking lot, and it's just fun. It's just super fun to do it. So if you can volunteer, give your name to Cheryl and let her know that you want to be a volunteer for National Night Out. There is a youth mini golf invitational, and that will be really fun. It is the first annual Youth Mini Golf Invitational. The first. So, Rick Belbatowski, who is our new Director of Youth and Young Adults, has put this wonderful event together, and it is going to be splendid. So think about that. If you know somebody between grades 8 and 12, get them involved. It'd be big fun. David, you got me seeing red. Everything else is on there. Read it. Find the thing that speaks to you, and then offer the gift of wonder. We're going to get ready to sing our way out into this amazing day and into this wonderful service. Thank you again to Carol for her amazing gift.
May the Spirit of Christ be our hope through the day, be our God through the night, our companion on our way. Christ be ever before us, Christ be ever beside us, Christ be ever within. May the Spirit of Christ be our hope through the day, be our guard through the night, be our compassion on the way. And all God's children said, Amen. Our women, our children, our